Why, yes, I did pre-record because I'm on vacation right now. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be doing some Halloween-y type stuff, because why not? It's October, which is awesome, but also I'm on vacation, so I'm sorry if I don't either upload on time or if I don't reply to people on time. I'm having a great time with family right now, so yeah. But today we are going to be doing my top 10 favorite monsters because I want to rank shit. These are not ranked in any particular order. I think I started making lists and these were the 10 that I think are probably the best. So yeah, let's get started. Number 1 is vampires, but not the Twilight kind. Vampires that are gross and disgusting, vampires that are Romanian, vampires that have a little bit of tragedy in their background and are very emo in their eternal life, whatever. I like those vampires. I find it interesting that Europe is not the only set of cultures that have historically had blood-sucking entities that stalk you at night and stuff like that. This is pretty much a universal fear, is having your blood drained by an undead thing. I say vampires, but it's mostly the blood-sucking whatever it is, depending on the culture. Number 2, which honestly is probably my favorite. I should have put this at the top 1, but whatever. Demons. Demons and devils are not the same thing. I like demons. Devils are whatever. Demons are things that have existed in, again, many different cultures and beyond the Christian scope of what a demon is, though I think that they have the most specifically named demons, if you want to get all technical and shit. I like them in literature, I like them in horror. They have very particular set of modes. They are malicious beings, but I'm kind of okay with that because they're usually pretty interesting and sassy. Number 3 is fairies. I say fairies, but not the Agatar kind, because even though I've not read that series and don't have any plans on it, what I've heard is that they're kind of like not fairies in the traditional sense. I like the ones that play tricks on people, much in the vein of Holly Black, the Cruel Prince, Wicked King, that end of things, where they have a lot of rules and regulations that they have to follow, but some of them are malicious and some of them are good and some of them do both because they just freaking feel like it. But particularly I have 2 favorite fairies. One is the Glaistig. I don't know how to say it. It's Scottish. Here's a picture of one that I grew up with by Brian Froud. She is a beautiful woman. She is usually seen in a green dress, and when she asks you to dance, you shouldn't dance with her, but you probably will anyway because you're a horny fuck. If you happen to see that under her skirt, there are goat hooves. She's not a pretty lady. She's there to eat you, and she's gonna trap you in an eternal dance before she eats you. And then the other one is the White Willow. I believe it is the White Willow. I'll try to find the thing from Brian Froud. It is a forest fae that looks very much like a tall willow tree or a birch tree or something. I think maybe it's a birch. I don't know. But it is the white hand of madness that really makes this an interesting fae. She touches you and you go crazy. Number 4 is specifically Gothic Ghosts. If you have not watched The Haunting of Hill House or read The Haunting of Hill House or Crimson Peak, that vein of story, you probably are not familiar with the kind of ghost that I'm talking about. We're not talking about a necessarily evil, malicious ghost. It's not a poltergeist. It doesn't move things. I know this sounds really terrible, but they're very much a haunting ghost. It's the reminder that something happened, or that something could happen, or that there's danger ever present, or there's madness ever present. The way that it's used in literature is usually to highlight certain dysfunctions, particularly in families, I guess. And they're usually like the haunted house stories that we hear. But yes, the Gothic Ghost is quite fun for me, and for whatever reason never really gets old. I like monsters that have a little bit of structure to them. They're not just this nebulous creature. But the Gothic Ghost is one of those all-purpose nebulous things that actually kind of works for me. Number 5, which I guess isn't really monster, but it's people monsters. We have our Hannibals, we have our serial killers, we have our terrible, disgusting human beings that have no redeemable qualities whatsoever. I'm trying to think of like a good one in literature that I've read recently, and I haven't, but there's lots in video games. Outlast 2, oh my goodness, Resident Evil 7 was the one that had the weird family and you had to eat disgusting things. Yeah, like I know that it was technically, you know, they got into some experimental goo that they weren't supposed to and it drove them a little batshit, but I don't care. That was awesome, and they are people monsters. Number 6 is also like one of my favorites, and that is shapeshifters. This again just sort of broadly covers different types of monsters that have been seen throughout the world. Wendigos, we have different gods that have shapeshifted. I don't count werewolves or werebeasts in this particular one, even though they technically are a shapeshifter. That isn't really their defining quality, and they can't shapeshift at will. It has a lot to do with the lunar cycle and such, so I don't count them as a shapeshifter, even though they do shapeshift. They can do just so many different things, and yes, shapeshifters. Oh my goodness, they're hard to pin down. You can do a million different things with them. They're cool. They could shapeshift into something ugly. They can shapeshift into something beautiful. They can shapeshift into something that you would never remember if you were in a crowded room. I love it. They're amazing. I'm probably gonna get shit for this next one because technically they are a demon, but I'm separating these guys out. I love yokai. And what I mean by yokai are these little creatures, and they look really funny. A lot of the time. They are spirits, I guess. They are technically demonic spirits, but that's really not a good way to categorize them, because like look at this little umbrella. He's a real umbrella. He's possessed an umbrella, and he has particular things that he does. There are many different types of yokai, and anything could be a yokai, I think. Again, they all have different kinds of names, but it's usually centered around the thing that they are. I have also been told that certain animal spirits can be yokai, so like there are fox and tanuki and, you know, yokai. There are cat yokai. They're kind of trickster spirits, but they do have a malicious side if you don't take care of them properly. I am not 100% sure on this, but I have a strong inkling, and there's some evidence that I've come across that suggests that yokai come from the Shinto spiritual background, sort of, I guess, the native religion of Japan before other religions became more prominent. But yeah, they're really fun. They're kind of cute. They're kind of ugly. I don't know. I consider them to be a different breed of demon than demons. Number 8, we're gonna lump some of these together, but it is Phoenixes, dragons, and Sphinxes. There's a theory that technically dragons and phoenixes in particular are technically the same thing. I know that sounds crazy and stupid because, you know, we think of a phoenix as a fiery bird, and we think of dragons kind of as a lizard thing, and sphinxes are part human, but they are all related, and they are intelligent mythical creatures that sort of all kind of function similarly. The phoenixes are, I think, less defined, but, you know, dragons are intelligent, but they hoard. The sphinxes are usually guardians, and I can't remember what phoenixes are exactly, but they all are sort of cut from the same cloth, and thus I'm going to put them together to come up with this category of flying intelligent guardians. that's what I've decided to call this category. Number 9 is something that I don't see a lot of, but I still really enjoy, and there's not really even like a name for them, but I'm going to call them the cursed. And what I mean by the cursed is, it may be a group of people, it may be a single person, but they are under the sway of a curse, and it makes them do terrible things. The clearest example that I think I could make of this are these guys from Dark Souls. So they are I guess technically they're a cult, but we're not going to get into that. But these things that they have on their head, that stays on them forever. It is their curse, and it's kind of like a parasite and tries to procreate it by taking things that aren't cursed and spreading the curse. Kind of like a fungus, I suppose. That is that particular lore of this cursed monster, but there are other monsters that also fall under this category. Again, they're kind of rare, but when I do see them, I love it. Number 10 is old gods, or cosmic beings. Think H.P. Lovecraft, or the Void, or the Thing. Sort of this unknowable force that could be here to do harm, could be here to do good, but again, is just it is unknowable, and thus you don't know what they're here for and what their purpose is. Technically, Sawkill Girls has a cosmic being that does things, but that was done really poorly. But it is that concept, otherworldly god-like being that makes you feel incredibly small and unimportant. So those are my top 10. I guess that's everything. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below if you haven't already, for content that will be similar but better than this. And I will hopefully have another video up pretty soon, because I plan on pre-recording a lot, because it's October and I love it, and it's time for all the spooky shit. So I will see you in the next video. All right, bye.
She said it will never go away. I know there is nothing left to say. Can we try to hold on just for now, even if we don't know how to show them what we're all about? Oh.